Philadelphia Eagles just sent a message to the entire league. They went into Tampa, faced one of their biggest recent challenges, and walked out with a win to remain undefeated. For Jogos, Quattro Vittorious. And even though the scoreboard says victory, this one was anything but easy. What stood out more than anything was how dominant the defense looked, how bipolar the offense continues to be, and how, even at 4-0, this team knows it's not playing its best football yet. Let's start with what can't be ignored, the defense. Quinton Mitchell was an absolute monster out there. If you watched the game, you saw it with your own eyes, play after play, drive after drive. He was everywhere. Whether it was shutting down deep shots or jumping short routes, Mitchell looked like a seasoned vet out there, not a young player still carving his name into this league. The Bucs kept going at him, but he refused to break. 9 targets, only 2 catches allowed, just 6 yards given up, and 5 pass breakups. That's elite cornerback stuff right there. And let's not forget the energy. He was in people's faces, jawing with Baker Mayfield, getting under their skin. That's exactly the kind of edge that Philly fans live for. Right alongside him, Cooper Dean stepped up in a huge way too. He was flying around the field, ended the game with 9 tackles, and even stepped in at outside corner when the defense needed a fix. It's rare to find rookies with that kind of versatility and presence, but the Eagles might have found 2 in the same draft class. The scary part is they're just getting started. And what about special teams? Back-to-back weeks with touchdowns from that unit. This time, Cam Latu broke through the line, blocked a punt, and Sidney Brown scooped it up for the score. That's the kind of play that shifts momentum in a game, and it lit the fire for what would become a dominant first half from the Birds. From there, it felt like the Eagles were ready to run away with the game. They went up 3 possessions early, the defense was locking down, and Jalen Hurts looked completely in rhythm. That first half from the offense was close to flawless. On the opening drive, Hurts was sharp, composed, and dangerous on his feet. That scramble for 29 yards? Huge. Then the little shovel pass to Dallas Goedert for the touchdown? Smooth. Hurts made it look easy. Next drive? More of the same. 20 yards to Goedert, 16 yards to Grant Calcaterra, then a laser to Devonta Smith on the move, and again a shovel to Dallas for another score. By halftime, the Eagles were up 24-3, and Tampa looked completely stunned. But of course, this is the 2025 Eagles we're talking about, and that means one thing: second half struggles. The team that looked unstoppable before halftime came out after the break and stalled. Bad play calling, poor execution, and 0 rhythm. 6 of their 7 offensive drives in the second half ended in punts. 5 of those were 3-and-outs. The run game, which has been an issue all season, was once again completely ineffective. And the passing game? It got predictable. That creativity from the first half just vanished. Part of the blame falls on the play calling. No doubt, but the offensive line isn't off the hook either. For a group that's been one of the best in football for the past few years, they've been underwhelming this season, especially when it comes to opening lanes in the run game. And when defenses are loading the box and daring you to beat them outside, you need better execution and better adjustments. Jordan Mailata said it himself after the game. This group needs to do a better job up front. They're one block away too often, and those missed blocks are killing drives and momentum. Then there's the frustration boiling over from the receivers, namely A.J. Brown. He finished the game with just 2 catches for 7 yards, and after the game, he posted a cryptic message on social media talking about not being welcomed or listened to. You don't need to be a body language expert to figure out he's not happy with how things are going offensively. And honestly, you can't really blame him. Brown is one of the best receivers in the league. He knows what he brings to the table. He knows what he's capable of. And he clearly feels like he's not being used in the way he should be. Now, to be fair, he was targeted 9 times in the game. So it's not like they completely ignored him. But maybe it's more about the types of routes he's running or where he's getting the ball. Or maybe it's the predictability of the offense overall that has him frustrated. Whatever the reason, when your WR1 is openly unhappy after a win, that's something the coaching staff has to address immediately. You don't want frustration turning into distraction, especially when the team is still undefeated. Despite all that, the defense once again bailed them out when it mattered most. Sure, they gave up two massive plays, a 77-yard bomb to Emeka Egbuka and a 72-yard score to Bucky Irving after Jayad Campbell got beat. But overall, they stood tall when the game was on the line. Campbell, who got burned earlier, came back with a vengeance and made arguably the play of the game with his interception in the end zone. Huge moment. Tampa was threatening to tie the game in the fourth quarter, and that pick took all the wind out of their sails. That's the kind of resilience you want to see. A young player gets beat, but doesn't hang his head. Instead, he locks back in and ends up saving the day. And Jayad Campbell wasn't just a one-play hero. He graded out as the third highest defender on the team and made key stops all game long. You can see the confidence growing. You can see the game slowing down for him. And that's a scary thought for opposing offenses. And let's not overlook the little details. The forced fumble from Jix Hunt, recovered by Kali Ringo, led to another scoring opportunity late in the game that helped put the game out of reach. Even when the offense wasn't clicking, the defense kept creating chances. And when the Bucs made one last push, the defense shut the door with a big-time sack from Morrow and a key stop from Perry Nickerson on fourth down. So yes, the offense is inconsistent. Yes, the run game needs serious help. And yes, the second half play calling feels way too cautious. But the Eagles are still finding ways to win. They've been tested 4 straight weeks now. They've had to grind out victories against physical, talented opponents. And yet, here they are, still undefeated, still in control, still hungry for more. And that hunger is what might be the most dangerous part. Because even after wins like this, nobody in that locker room is satisfied. They know they've got to clean things up. They know the offense needs more balance, better rhythm, and more urgency in the second half. They know A.J. Brown needs to be more involved. They know the offensive line needs to play better. But they also know they've got the talent, the coaching, and the mindset to fix it. And when that happens, when this team finally puts 4 quarters of clean football together, watch out. Looking ahead, the biggest question surrounding this team is simple. Can the offense find its identity before it catches up to them in the loss column? Because right now, the defense is playing at a championship level. Quentin Mitchell is emerging as one of the best young corners in the game. Cooper Dean is proving to be far more than just a rotational piece, and Jayad Campbell is becoming a legitimate playmaker on the back end. The defensive line continues to bring pressure at key moments, and the coaching staff has been creative enough to cover up for injuries and lack of depth in certain areas. But the offense is still lagging behind, and eventually, if that gap doesn't close, it could cost them in a big way. Jalen Hurts is the centerpiece of this unit, and when he's on, there are few quarterbacks more dynamic. That first half showed the full range of what he can do. Smart decisions, explosive scrambles, and touch passes that thread the needle. But then there's the other side, the one that reappears too often in the second half, where the rhythm falls apart and the offense goes conservative. It feels like every game is a tale of 2 Hurts. The MVP candidate in the first half, and the overly cautious, sometimes frustrated version in the second. And it's not all on him. The play calling becomes more predictable. The protection isn't as tight, and the run game isn't there to take the pressure off. But Hurts is the guy with the ball in his hands, and when things go stale, all eyes are on him. What's most frustrating is that the pieces are there. The talent isn't the issue. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. That's a trio that should strike fear into any secondary. They can all win one-on-one, they can all stretch the field, and they've shown chemistry with Hurts in the past. But for whatever reason, that chemistry just hasn't clicked consistently this season. A.J. Brown has had his moments, but his usage feels disjointed. There are stretches where he's completely taken out of the game plan, and that's just not acceptable for a player of his caliber. His cryptic social media post after the game wasn't just emotional venting. It was a clear signal that he wants things to change. And if the Eagles want to keep this offense balanced and dangerous, they need to make him a priority. Then there's the issue of the ground game. For games into the season, and the Eagles still haven't established anything consistent on the ground. They've tried different looks, different running backs, and different formations, but nothing has truly worked. Even when they get solid gains, it often feels like they're forcing it rather than flowing with the natural rhythm of the game. And that's where the offensive line has to take some responsibility. This group has been elite for years, setting the tone physically and allowing the offense to dominate time of possession. But lately, it feels like they're a step off, missing assignments, getting pushed back, or just not sealing their blocks. Jordan Mailata admitted it after the game. They're not where they need to be, and it's killing drives. When you watch the film, it's obvious that a lot of these issues come down to one or two guys missing their mark on a given play. One missed block, one poor read, one bad route. That's the difference between a 10-yard gain and a 2-yard loss, between converting third downs and punting. And those little mistakes start to add up, especially in the second half when the defense adjusts and the pressure ramps up. That's why the Eagles have to figure this out sooner rather than later, because against elite teams, those wasted drives won't just stall momentum, they'll turn into losses. The Eagles were lucky in this game that the defense kept bailing them out. After the offense sputtered, the defense came up with a clutch interception in the red zone, a forced fumble, and a fourth down stop to ice the game. But you can't rely on that every week. At some point, the offense has to close the deal. They have to learn how to keep their foot on the gas. Because this isn't college football, you don't get style points for dominating the first half. You have to finish. And that's where this team is falling short. To their credit, though, the Eagles aren't pretending everything is fine. The players know it. The coaches know it. They've been open in post-game interviews, acknowledging the issues and pointing out where they need to improve. There's no arrogance here. There's no sense of, well, we're undefeated, so it doesn't matter. They're not satisfied, and that's a great sign, because being 4-0 means nothing if you're peaking too early or failing to evolve. The NFL is about growth and timing. The best teams don't just win in September. They get better every week and peak when it matters most. Now, heading into Week 5, the Eagles have a big decision to make. Do they keep doing what they're doing and hope the offense finds its groove naturally, or do they make some bold adjustments now before it costs them? Whether it's personnel changes on the offensive line, a shift in play-calling responsibilities, or just building in more designed looks for A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert, something has to change. They can't keep starting fast and fading late, because eventually a team's going to take advantage of that, and by the time the Eagles respond, it'll be too late. There's also the question of whether Jalen Hurts needs more freedom to improvise. When the offense looks its best, it's usually when Hurts is playing loose, scrambling, extending plays, and trusting his instincts. But lately, it seems like he's being boxed in by the structure of the game plan. There's a fine line between discipline and restriction, and right now, it feels like the Eagles are erring on the side of caution. And that's not how this team is built. They're aggressive by nature. They're built to attack. So the coaching staff needs to find that balance again. Give Hurts the freedom to play his game while also keeping the offense efficient and on schedule. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL and left fans across the United States buzzing, the Philadelphia Eagles reportedly announced the acquisition of Josh Allen, the star quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. The news, though yet unconfirmed in official league channels, has sparked a firestorm of speculation and excitement, with social media erupting into a frenzy of debates, predictions, and outright disbelief. Josh Allen, known for his cannon arm, mobility, and game-changing presence on the field, has been the cornerstone of Buffalo's recent successes. To imagine him donning the green and white of Philadelphia is the stuff of sports dreams, or nightmares, depending on which fanbase you ask. Insiders suggest that the Eagles may have pulled off a blockbuster trade, one that could reshape the balance of power in the NFC and potentially in the entire league. The details of the deal remain murky, but whispers of multiple first-round draft picks and key roster players being involved have only fueled the hype. Fans in Philadelphia are already imagining the possibilities. A dual-threat offense pairing Allen with the Eagles' dynamic receiving core, creating mismatches that could terrorize even the league's toughest defenses. Analysts are questioning what this means for the rest of the NFC East, with rivals suddenly facing a quarterback who has consistently delivered in high-pressure situations. Meanwhile, In Buffalo, reactions are mixed, with Bills supporters expressing heartbreak, confusion, and outrage at losing their franchise quarterback. As with all blockbuster rumors, caution is advised. The NFL world knows that until contracts are signed and paperwork is filed, nothing is official. Yet, the sheer magnitude of the buzz surrounding this potential move is undeniable. Pundits are already speculating on how the Eagles will integrate Allen into their offensive system, and whether this is the first step in a broader strategy to dominate the league. Whether this turns out to be the most audacious trade in NFL history or simply a tantalizing rumor, one thing is certain. The Eagles have the entire country talking, and the NFL offseason just got infinitely more thrilling. Fans everywhere are keeping their eyes glued to every report, waiting to see if the impossible is about to become reality in Philadelphia. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts and comments. See you in the next video.